Hey there, if you follow us here on our YouTube channel or on our website, you know my name is Scott Talley. I'm the broker owner here at 5Market Realty. And what we like to do is monthly market updates for people that are in the market right now, for our clients, for our friends, to kind of stay up to date on what trends we're seeing in the market. We also do videos on new listings and any other real estate related topics that come up. So if you're interested in anything Athens area, Oconee County, surrounding counties of Athens related to real estate or homes for sale, be sure to click subscribe. But what we're doing today is our February market update to kind of look at the first month of 2024. Bear with me. I've got a February cold, and hopefully I won't have to clear my throat too much. But right there, what it says, more listings and more time on market. 2024 feels different, and it does feel different right now. We've only got about 30 some odd days to talk about, but it's so much different than what we saw coming out of COVID, and we're going to cover that today and kind of show you a few things. So as you know, what we like to do is we like to track four main things and compare them to years past. We go with the new listings, the days on market, the average sale price, and the total number of sales. And we track that only in Clarke and Oconee County. Now, one thing that's different is this is a small amount for the year. We've only got really 32 days counting February 1st that we're going to look at. So there's not as much data to compare, but we're going to see that change as the year goes on. So let's take a look and see what happened in the first month. Now, right off the bat, the good news is 153 listings, new listings in Clarke and Oconee County, which is up 33%. That is so much better than what we were doing last year. Days on market, a little bit down from what we saw the same time last year at 46 days, and that's going to be a 26% drop. Average sold price, this is kind of good news. Now, granted, these numbers are going to change as we start getting more transactions throughout the year, but we've got a 1.5% increase over the same time last year from 403 to 409. And then if we look at the solds, this is kind of where the bad news is for people in the industry, is this number is still down, but I'm still optimistic on that. We are a little bit above what happened last January. And folks, January is supposed to be a low transaction time. It's not a time that a lot of people are moving or buying, but we are seeing an uptick. And I do believe we saw a lot more properties go under contract in January. So we're going to get a big difference, I think, in February once we're able to look at those numbers. Now, in our market update for the end of the year, and really January, I guess, I actually broke out the differences between Clarke and Oconee County, because what we've been doing for years is combining these. And I want to continue to do that because that helps us track the numbers. But the truth is they are different markets, and there's a lot of difference in the volume and the prices in the two counties. And I want to show you that. Let's pull out the differences here. Total new listings, this is for the year to date. You've got 119 new listings in Clarke to 45 in Oconee, a 62% difference. Days on market is lower on Clarke. It's 43 to 54. And then, of course, that's a 20% difference. Here's the big one, sale price. $350,000 average sale price, first 35 days or so, Clarke County, and $600 in Oconee. And an even bigger difference here is the total amount of homes sold, which is almost 70% difference. You had 54 homes sold of the 71 in Clarke County, and only 17 sold in Oconee. So why do we do that? Well, I want you to know what market you're in. Now, in Clarke County, one of the things is there are more sales and there are lower sales. But if you're in Oconee looking under 500,000, that market is more competitive than being over 600. So it's going to be a little different depending on where you are in the market right now. This is another thing I wanted to kind of make a point with Clarke County. 76% of the sales were under $400,000. So a large part of the market, even though we have this perception that all the prices have skyrocketed, and yes, prices have really gone up, the $1 million sale in your neighborhood gets a lot more attention than the $250,000 condo that sold in Athens or the $300,000 condo. So what goes on in Clarke County is a lot more transactions. And what we've seen is about 25% of those were actually condos in the beginning of the year. So that's been a big driver in the market early on. And just kind of want you to know that there's still a substantial amount of the market that is under $400,000. Now, the monthly inventory of homes, this is something we started tracking about over a year ago. And basically, it's how many homes are for sale today. I tracked this number on what would have been February 4th. Clarke and Oconee County combined 275 homes for sale. Probably would like to see that a little bit higher. But the good news is, look at where this number is relative to the same time last year. That is a difference of, 96 more than last year. 96 more homes for sale. Now, while the transaction volume is down, what I'm trying to tell is buyers have more opportunity than the narrative is. Now, certain properties are still going to have more competition based on what they are, price point, and things like that. But overall, more inventory is good news. We talked about the transactions and total sales. We're well below where we would want to be at 200, but it is January. A healthy number for January might be low 100s. But there is one thing I have seen and felt in the market, and so have our agents. Over the course of January, a lot of properties did go under contract, and it feels like February, we're going to see that number go up a lot, and maybe we can return to a more normal spring market. I'm realizing now when I started running numbers that we are 2 years away from 2021. I mean, it's now been 2022, 23, and we're getting further and further away from that crazy real estate market. So our expectation of what we see in the market should probably start to change. And that leads me into the months of inventory or the monthly absorption rate. I've been covering this. So what this means is how many homes are selling per month versus how many homes are on the market. Right now, we are at 3.9 based on the amount of sales we're having in the homes on the sale. Balanced market is 4 months, 4 to 6 months, and we're almost there. Now, as I went back and I talked about the differences in Clarke and Oconee, we are seeing some homes have to bring their price down because they were overpriced. We're seeing negotiations. We're seeing closing costs being offered more, rate buy downs, but certain things are still competitive. If you're at a certain price point, let's say you're trying to find a $250,000 condo, competitive market. Under a certain price point, competitive market. A really desirable area, hard to get neighborhood, going to be a competitive market. So don't take this to mean that you're not going to have competition for a house. It just means you need to be well informed on where you are and what you're trying to accomplish. Factors to understand, I want to end here. If you saw 60 Minutes last night, they had Jerome Powell on from the Fed, and it was pretty interesting to hear him talk, and we'll kind of cover that here in these factors to understand. So as I just mentioned, we're seeing more normal market conditions, 50 plus days on market, which is a lot more normal than what we used to see pre-COVID. And last night, Jerome Powell talked about, with 60 Minutes, he talked about inflation going down, what they've done with the interest rates, if they were going to lower them in the immediate future or things along there. Well, the narrative has definitely changed. The Fed seems like they're considering rate drops in the future, but don't take that as a guarantee. If they do drop the rates, which it was mentioned last night, they might do that in the mid-year. And if that happens, you're going to have a lot of buyers step back into the market that may not be there now. Competition may increase. If you need a house and you can afford a house, maybe now you should be looking before there's any significant rate drop, or don't plan on something as a guarantee. It's a prediction. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. Now, we also are better today than we were a year ago. I know that was still not a lot of transactions, but 275 homes for sale versus 179 is way better. I mentioned before, if the rates go down, competition will go up. So basically, instead of trying to predict what's going to happen or have somebody tell you to wait based on a prediction, buy and invest in real estate based on what your needs are now. If you can afford it and what your needs are, don't try to play the guessing game of when something's going to happen that's going to create this unicorn situation for you. If rates go down, we know it's going to be more competitive. So that's sort of it right now. We didn't have near as much data to go through, but that'll go up as the year goes on. This is our group 5M Realty, 5Market Realty. Reach out to us if you've got an interest coming up this year. If you need to go ahead and get a plan in place, info at 5M Realty. Anybody in this group is equipped to help you. And other than that, have a great February. You're like me, I'm sick of wet and gray and ready to see a little bit more warmth and sunshine. Have a great rest of your week, and thank you for staying with me for what's now a little over 8 minutes.